Yeah. Since 2019, we've been building mindset and purpose for real estate agents, entrepreneurs, leaders, people becoming more than they were yesterday. Monday through Friday, we rise. We win the morning, we win the mind. Faith over fear, pressure into purpose, confidence built through the work. Something good is gonna happen to me. Something good is gonna happen to me. I don't need all the answers, I just need belief. Becoming who I'm called to be, making impact bigger than me. God first, doubt steps back. When it gets heavy, we figure it out. You're not here by accident, you're part of the story. Stepping strong, stepping faith. Let's get your mindset right.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You want to be cursing at us right now,
Yes,
Michelle,
I
don't you?
know. Yeah, I was all pumped. Top of the morning to you. This is Michele Wright, your host for today. I'm a CEO, community leader, author, pastor, and whatever other hat that you want to put on. And I believe everyone needs to start every day with an encouraging word. And uh, let me tell you, when we started this, Brock, many years ago, I just wanted to help other authors because when I wrote my book, Top of the Morning to You, I ventured out on my own. I had a lot of good input, I had a lot of bad input, I had a lot of things that if I had a bucket list, I could say was on my bucket list and I've done, but I didn't do it very well, and so I wanted to help people. And I think we brought on some good authors in the past, and uh, we've been doing this. I think it's going on the third year, Brock, if I'm not mistaken, of almost every week having another author. And I have a confession to make. This past time, I I did not have a clue who I was going to have on this podcast today, and I'm going like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to call Brock and say, I don't have anybody. We're going to have to punt. And I saw something by an author who almost everybody on this show today might know. Um, and it's our own Jim Morris. And he pasted a Facebook out there, and he posted his need. And that's something that we all need to uh, do a little bit more of, is share what it is that we really need. And there are people out there who are already poised and ready to take you up on that. So his need, if I get it correctly, Jim, was he was looking to get on 11 podcasts by such and such date. Is that correct, Jim?
Correct. Yeah.
And it's going like, uh, I cannot not ask Jim because he's right there for us, and then the part of me, Jim, that was going back and forth, and it's the imposter syndrome. There's no way Jim would want to do this because everybody knows him. Uh, you know, 20 million reasons not to ask you. And so I gave you a voice text, and I said, would you, and this was just what, Tuesday this week, something like that. I'm going like, too short notice, we're not going to be able to get anything out there. And Jim, you said yes, so I thank you for being on our show today. And your book is in the background, Connect or Die: How to Survive AI. And welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of just share a little bit about the process and a little bit about the book. And, I think, I love how you started off the conversation today because one of the things that I struggle with is asking for help. And I talk about that in the book, but more importantly, I think, you have to ask to receive in a lot of ways. And, I made that post, and my goal was to be on 30 podcasts in 30 days, and I'm at 34 right now. And a lot of that came from that post. I mean, I'm traveling and touring, and I'm going to be in Dallas, and I've got 5 podcasts from 5 people that I haven't met while I'm in Dallas in a different state that I live in, and that came a lot from those posts and relationships and connections and support. So, I would always urge someone to make the ask. And the worst thing that someone could say is no, or, maybe you need to reposition how you make a post or make an ask. In the past, I've done something like this before, and I just said, I want to be on 10 podcasts this month, and learning from just getting on a couple from that post, I really wanted to include what I wanted to talk about. So just that little tweak, that little change of saying, I want to get on 10 podcasts and talk about human connection and AI, and, that had better results. So just another lesson that I'm always learning and growing through.
Well, one of the things that I thought about your book, and I don't know if everyone needs to, first of all, get this book because it's incredible. It surprised me. It was different than what I thought it was going to be, and I struggled a little bit in reading the book itself. But in the very beginning, you did something I've never seen any author do, and you you said download the free audiobook or the audiobook free. And I'm going like I had to read. I had your book, but I hadn't read it. This is a Tuesday this week, and I said I'm going to download it, and it was incredible. What was your thought in putting that in the book, and how has it worked out for you so far?
Great question. Well, there's 2 strategies. I'll give you the strategy of impact, and I'll give you the strategy from a business and marketing perspective, in case anybody's looking to write a book and wants to utilize a book to acquire contact information. The impact piece is I truly understand that some people are visual, some people are auditory, right? My good friend Brian Galkey, who was, at the summit this past year and has been on the show, talks a lot about this and how to give people the information for them best to receive it. So I wanted to give someone the opportunity to purchase the physical copy, but then also, like for you, Michelle, in the car, commuting, traveling, and the book's written with connection reps in the back of each chapter as the lesson or motif. And I wanted people to always be able to get your reps in, similar to the gym, right? If you want to build muscle, you have to go and do your reps. So same with connection. I believe connection, you have to get your reps in. So I wanted to make it easy for people. I wanted to create more impact. Now, the other reason on the back end, from a marketing standpoint and business standpoint, is when someone goes to download the audiobook, they have to provide their contact information. So now I know who's reading my book. I know who is downloading the audio, and I can reach out to them for reviews. I can, reposition different products and services to them. They're now in my list of contacts, essentially. So there was a dual purpose, most importantly, leading with impact and giving people information in a way that they can digest and receive it. And then also there was a business aspect of it as well.
Yeah, and I really find that's really interesting. The one thing that I liked about the audiobook, it was as if when I was driving in the car, it was as if you were sitting in the seat next to me. You know, it was amazing. You recorded it in your voice, and it it is an easy listening, and it you can pick up the major points. You emphasize points that you want to bring out, and the entire book, I think, is basically your journey in um, human connection, if you will, and also I kind of market like the reader's digest version of your journey in human connection. So because you bring in a lot of experts, you bring in people that we in our cohort here know. You mentioned Brock. Brock, you're in the book. I don't know if you read it, but you're in the book. Brian Dockey is in the book, and many other people. And if anyone really wanted to get into several different things, uh, and even, for example, there's a little snippet from Brian Dalkey for people who were there, uh, talking about the eyes, talking about ears, and what it means in order to connect with people. So it's if you want to know a little bit about everything concerning human connection, this is the place to go. So, Jim, what is your favorite section in the book? Because the book is uh, put into about 12 chapters, and each chapter breaks down into individual stories that you've collected over how many years? This just didn't happen overnight, Jim, did it?
It did not. No, it's been a journey. I think one of the interesting pieces of building this was looking at the timeline of my life, and really trying to understand what was going on in some of the darkest times and some of the times when I was celebrating on the mountaintop, and some of my successes, and um, really looking at who was around me, what relationships I had, what relationships I didn't have, what emotions I was feeling, disconnected. And then when things were really good, I was feeling very connected. When business was very good, I was a very human centered leader. I was a very connected leader. I spent a lot of time with my associates, employees, vendors, support staff. And then times where I was struggling was those relationships were either non existent or broken. So it was a very interesting journey. And I wanted to really go deep into those moments that really help bring to light some of the lessons and skill sets. And I wanted to not just give you a workbook, which we also give you a workbook in the back for free. But I wanted to really bring you into the depth and the scenarios of why I believe it's important and how I learned it. So, to answer your question specifically around my favorite part of the book or chapter, um, I think the I think I have two. I think the loving yourself chapter is very important because I think you have to have self connection in order to excel with outward human connection. And I think that's a very big foundation to someone who can align with others, someone who understands their core values. So to ensure that you can decipher what connection makes sense, what's, misaligned, what's a waste of time, right? I think one of the things that I've shared on several morning shows and podcasts and radio segments has been understanding connection allows you to understand who not to connect with as well.
Mm,
And if you can decipher that in a positive way, like connect with the right people faster and deeper and better, but also connect with people faster, deeper, and better to understand who you're not aligned with, there's a benefit in each of those
right,
opportunities and
right.
scenarios.
Yeah.
As far as the second chapter that I really enjoy is the confidants, allies, and acquaintances.
Oh, okay.
And the reason why I enjoy that chapter, Michelle, is because um, I I talk to a lot of people, whether it's after a speech, whether it's on a podcast, whether it's at an event, on the phone, text message, DMs, LinkedIn, right? Like I communicate a lot, and a lot of times when people are very real and vulnerable and raw, it typically relates to a relationship, right?
Mhm.
Something had happened, there's a broken relationship, someone feels lonely, someone can't hit some of their KPIs or goals in their business, and they need someone, or they lost someone,
Mhm.
and the emotion that derives from that is typically negative, right? If I just had a controller, our profitability would be higher. If I just had a senior operations manager, we'd be growing quicker. If I just had, a good business partner who was aligned with me, our company would double, right? And on the personal side, if I just had more adult friends that I could trust, I'd feel a lot better about life. I'd feel safe. I'd feel comfortable. I'd feel that I can share what's going on. I don't feel so lonely.
Mhm.
And I always ask people a question of, if you want to grow more revenue in your company, um, wouldn't you put time on your calendar to do sales? Maybe even time to generate leads, in order to convert and grow your organization. And everybody says, yeah, Jim, duh, right? Like you need marketing, you need leads, you convert those,
Right.
you bring in clients, you have revenue. And I say, well, how much time is on your calendar each week to build relationships, to broker opportunities, to bring in new talent, new ideation, new strategic approaches to what you're challenged with in your personal life and your business life? And almost everybody says they don't. So I think putting time on your calendar to realize and understand who is an acquaintance in your network currently, who is an ally, and who is a confidant. And knowing that all confidants typically started as an acquaintance, what are you doing to connect with people? What are you doing to love on people? What are you doing to provide value to people throughout each week, each day,
Mhm.
to maybe understand and decipher, will this acquaintance become an ally? Will this ally become a confidant? I was just on a pretty big podcast the other day, and we got off, and the gentleman said, "You know what, Jim? This is really awkward and weird for me to ask, and feels very uncomfortable.
Mhm.
But I I need help making more adult friends who I can trust."
Mm.
Right? And this person is multimillionaire. They worked on political campaigns, worked, in the Trump administration. They have made a crazy amount of money, and they do marketing and investing, and very diverse in what they do
Mhm.
to bring in revenue into their business, and they were lonely in that moment. They were like, "How do I find more friends?" And I'm really uncomfortable. And I gave him the same advice. So that's why I like that chapter. I also, in the back of the book, have people draw a bullseye, and with big circle, medium circle, small circle in the middle, and start to put people's names in those categories, to really understand where people lie. And some of the biggest mistakes in my life, financially or just mentally, has been miscategorizing relationships, thinking someone's a confidant but yet they're an ally, or thinking an acquaintance is an ally, and they're really not. So I've learned a lot from those scenarios, for sure.
Yeah. And I can see that in I work a lot with young people in the community and other industry leaders, and it's sometimes interesting. I see a lot of our younger people, especially, are so self-centered that they don't really connect with people outside. And a lot of people feel that they are always right, and so what it does is it puts up borders around to the point that people don't want to reach out or become vulnerable. So that's an important point. And I think in order to make good connections that work for us personally or in our business, is we need to become vulnerable. Uh, Years past, we used to say open kimono. You know, you basically are there and you work with people, and I would like to see more of it. That's I did a lot of stuff when I worked in the defense industry, working across with the government agencies, Navy, Air Force, whatever, and they never trusted contractors. Contractors never trusted the defense group because they were always putting more boundaries in and making it difficult. So that's important. Uh, Another one of the chapters that I liked um, was the digital connection in an AI world, and you basically give several ideas that are very helpful. And I would really recommend once again getting into this book because it helps to solidify and put a plan. You put a plan together on how to reach out to people and how to make it real. And I think that's important.
Thank you, Michelle. I think that utilizing technology and automation and AI is important, and there is benefits to it, right? I'm not an anti-technology, analog Stone Age type of guy, right? But I think utilizing it in a way where it doesn't mitigate your unique genius and allow you to step into your unique ability and be human and pull from what you know, what you've experienced, what feels right, right? What has heart, what has soul. A machine, a large language model, there is no heart in that.
Right,
There is no soul, right?
right.
One of the things that, and I'm excited to come to Charlotte and for the event next month and I'm going to break down is, using that automation in a way for people to receive your communication in the best time or opportunity for them to receive and digest it. So what I mean by that is, and I'll give you an example of this is, let's talk about work or business. Say that you are in the office on a Sunday afternoon and you have this plan or you're doing some catch up work and you send out a message Sunday at 4:30 p.m. to your team or to a client or whatnot. Is 4:30 p.m. on a Sunday the best time for them to receive that information and digest it? Right? Typically, we know maybe not as so much in real estate, but Sunday evenings, Sunday late afternoons, most people are not working. Most people are preparing for a Sunday dinner, or they're getting ready for the week, or they're with family or kids, or they're just relaxing. Right? We all need some time to just chill and recoup our energy. So does it make sense to send that message, send that email, make that phone call? Or does it make more sense to schedule that email for 9 a.m. Monday? Or, schedule that text message to go out at noon on Monday? And I think a lot of that stuff's important, especially if, you are a leader and you are someone who's an early riser, but yet your team starts at 9 a.m. Sending messages at 5:30 could be annoying, right? They could be waking people up. And someone could walk into the office at 8 a.m. and have, 8 different email responses from you or text messages, and it's Monday at 8 a.m. Like, that sounds stressful, just me saying it. Um, so I think there's a strategy in that. If you really want people to receive the information and to receive it well and mannered, then I think you can focus a little bit more on that. Now, the other piece is using it to your advantage. I had a friend who had just had a baby, and he was on night duty, and his wife was breastfeeding, and they were. He said, typically my wife wakes up, breastfeeds around 12:30, 1 a.m., and then kind of gives me the baby, and I'm up for a couple hours in the middle of the night so she can go back to sleep and get some sleep. And so I don't stay up till 2 a.m., right? I'm old. Like, there's not a chance in the world I'm up at 2 a.m. anymore. So I wanted to serve him and, support him and communicate with him at 2 a.m. So I scheduled memes to be texted to him at 2 a.m. And it was just this little thing that he could laugh and he could respond and he could search for memes and send them back to me. And it just changed that experience for him. And, we had a very mutual friend who introduced me to him in the real estate business. And when he sold his house, he called me to sell it, even though another real estate agent was the one that introduced him and I, that he was closer with for a longer time. So I wasn't doing it to, make $22,000 or $23,000, but that relationship allowed me to bring in revenue additionally as well and create a deeper friendship.
Wow, that's really incredible. I know we have a bunch of people here, and we have a minute, so we could probably take one question if someone has one question. If not, I know Brock has something that he would probably like to share. So,
Oh, you know me, Michelle, especially when I get to put Jim on the spotlight
oh
like this
no,
to put him in the hot seat.
yeah,
So,
but
Jim, let
I
me
don't
ask you a
see.
question. Let me ask you a
Okay.
question, brother. So, many people want to write a book. They get the book, and then it's like, now what? I got this book. What do I do with it? Yes, I want to sell it, but then things happen, and it's just like, boy, this is bigger than what I was expecting, or maybe like this a little bit harder than I was thinking. Like I just thought people, especially even myself, I could personally say, like I just thought, it'd be just flying off the shelf and everything else like that. Like how do you not want this book? I mean, I wrote it, for crying out loud. So when you go through your ups and downs and your peaks and you get the energy and everything else, like, you know, if we were to fast forward this, go from like today or from when you released it and you're on Times Square and you're doing all this stuff and the energy is high, like when you vision this out 3 years from now, like where do you see this? How do you keep going when not every day you're selling 100 books a day? Like what keeps you going, and where do you see this in 3 years when you wrote this book? Like this is my vision.
So I think for me, specifically is and maybe different for why people write books. I think there's a lot of different reasons to write a book, right? For me specifically, and what we do in our company is to create an opportunity to leverage the book for your expertise, right? So, for me, it's not about selling 50,000 copies. Would that be great? Yeah, cool, right? But, making, $6 a copy of a book isn't going to get me rich, isn't the fastest way for me to make a large revenue stream. So, using the book to show expertise and build authority allows me to work one-on-one with people who are looking to bring in someone to show them how to be a human centered leader in their company and pay me 10 grand to do that. Right. More speaking opportunities, more relationships for me. I've had more inbound speaking engagements. I had, Performance Magazine asked me to write an article. I've had, morning shows, TV, radio stuff coming up. And I don't know what will come from that. Right. But what I do know is if I can write a book that really shows my heart, my soul, and the level of expertise around human connection, then there will be multiple opportunities that come from that. And quite honestly, I've been blown away. I didn't realize how fast a lot of these opportunities would come. So
Mm.
for me, looking outward, of course, I want to put the book in people's hands and change lives and as many as possible, but I'm not tied to, selling 50,000 copies in the next 3 years. I'm tied to getting the copies to the people who will read them, who will use them, who will enjoy the stories and experience and apply them. And I would actually rather have 100 copies in the hands of someone that it's going to impact than sell 50,000 copies to people who are never going to flip the first page. And looking at the stats, 17% of people actually read the book that they purchase. And my goal was to absolutely crush that. And based on the feedback and based on people sending me screenshots of them doing the exercises and having events where people showed up last week and there was sticky notes sticking out and pages folded and written notes everywhere, that is impactful for me. And that would define my, goal and success more importantly than
I love your
financial.
purpose. Your purpose, your vision is like you said, your book is your vehicle. And so I would for all those listening, what is your vehicle? Is it what is it that you have? Like my vehicle to do real estate for me is real brokerage. Real brokerage is just the vehicle that allows me to sell real estate. This platform is this morning show is the vehicle to be able to create this culture, to do events, to do the success summit, to have Michelle and leaders come on here and speak. Jim, your vehicle is this book. And so I would challenge you all on here and write this question down. And Michelle, I'll let you close this out here. Is what's your vehicle? What is the vehicle that is allowing you to live the life that you want to live? And if you're not living the life that you want to live, maybe it might be in the wrong car. Maybe it might be in the wrong vehicle. And what does that look like for you? Jim, I love your passion and your purpose behind it. I'm very thankful and honored to be in your book. I'm honored to be a great friend, and I truly am thankful, Michelle, for you bringing Jim on here to share his story and his message. So I didn't realize it's already 8:48. So Michelle, I'll let you close us out with Jim.
Okay, Jim, thank you so much for picking up the torch for me and for me being able to fill your need as well. And we look forward to uh, motivational mindset on Monday morning. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Love you guys.
Bye
Thank
all.
you. Take care.